Hello and welcome once again to this week's edition of the Lunch Crunch, #1 place to get your marketing questions answered by an expert. I am, of course, Jake, the Wizard of Marketing, and I am here to spend some time with you and answer your marketing questions. All right. If this is your first time with us, just go ahead and pop your question in the chat. We'll get to them in the order that they are put in. And we'll just spend some time together talking about marketing and what makes marketing awesome and why we all need to be doing it on a more regular basis. You can definitely follow us on your favorite social platform. We are currently live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. So go ahead and follow us over there. If you are on YouTube, hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time that we go live. So you can get all of this great marketing goodness. Every single week. We're here every single week, Friday noon Central. All right, so every single week, Friday noon Central, we're here to answer your questions. So as we're all getting going and enjoying our week, we're almost done. It's almost the weekend. It's going to be 4th of July. Thought I would just share some of my favorite tools that we use here at the Wizard to make amazing WordPress websites. Now, I recently had a small conversation on LinkedIn with a colleague about WordPress and kind of the state of the internet and whether or not you should be using WordPress. So let's talk about that for a second real quick. WordPress is a fantastic platform. Let me say it again. WordPress is a fantastic platform. Every platform has pitfalls. Every platform has issues, gaps, things that it doesn't do right, things that it does just not at all. But WordPress is one of the most flexible tools available on the internet if you need a website. The reason for this is also the reason why it can be problematic. And that's because it is highly adopted. Almost 40% of all websites are WordPress-based websites. That's astronomical. If anybody owned 40% of any industry with the size of the internet, it's incredible. Now, WordPress is beautifully free to use. It's an open source product, and it was designed to help us use the internet and create better websites so we have better experiences. If you've been around the internet long enough, you remember the late 90s websites and how awful they actually were. Now, they weren't awful at the time. We didn't know. We were still learning UI, UX experience. We were still learning how to do websites, and we're much better now. But part of that is because we have the right tool sets to do that. Now, is WordPress the right choice for every single person? I would say no. That's not true. In fact, I've talked several people out of WordPress websites when they didn't need it. Sometimes it is overkill. Sometimes you just need it for one simple thing. If you want to create an e-commerce store and you want to do it simply and quickly, man, Squarespace is the right spot for you to be in because it is effective and it's cheap and it's easy to use and it integrates with all the things you need to integrate with. So definitely check that out if you just want a simple e-commerce store. If you are just looking to do a blog, Wix is probably a good choice. Now, Wix has gotten a bad rap in the past for being a bad SEO platform. They've fixed a lot of their problems. And this is coming from a person who was a non-Wix, a non-believer somebody who disliked it because of the way that they set up their SEO program stuff. But they've corrected their ways, they're improving, they're getting better, and it is getting easier to use. That being said, if you have an idea and you want to put a website together and you don't really know exactly what to do, WordPress is fantastic because there are so many tools out there, so many options of tools that you can use on your website to do the little nitty-gritty things that you want to do. Now, this is where our conversation, me and my colleague, split. He said that WordPress is too bloated. Well, yeah, it's too bloated if you put too many things on it. It's not an optimized platform. And I think that's where we need to address WordPress as its shortcoming. Because it's so plug and play, and because there are so many add-ons for it nowadays, it is very easy for the website to become bad. From a technical performance perspective, it can also be bad from a layout perspective. Maybe you have too many tools in there. So that's why we try to keep our tool set to the barest minimum possible to get the job done. And I recommend everybody take a look at WordPress because it is free. And there's so many free tools for it to make the website that you want happen. Now, this is going to rile some people up or ruffle some feathers, but I think that most of the bloat in WordPress today comes from bad themes. So what is a theme and a plugin? Because we're going to be talking about my favorite plugins in just a second. A theme is the skin that goes over a WordPress site. So in WordPress, you have kind of like these two avenues, right? You have your theme, which is the stylings, it's the look, it's the layout. This is the part that's a little bit more complicated to address because you're literally taking the layout of WordPress and reconfiguring it into the layout that you want for your theme. And so sometimes themes don't do this very effectively, and it can become a slog on the system. It can become poorly coded, poorly loading. It can break things. And so themes are actually the more dangerous thing. I find that plugins tend to be very reliable. Now, be careful. You get too many plugins in and they start loading and your website starts to drag. It starts to not load. Things crosstalk on each other and then they break each other. And that's not good either. So we need to be careful when we're putting plugins on that. We only add maybe one at a time. We check it, we test it, we make sure it's working. That didn't ruin anything. It didn't ruin our speed, our SEO, whatever it is. And then we can add more and more. So I think that that's a perfect segue into the topic that I wanted to talk about today, which is my favorite 4 plugins for WordPress. If you have a question, you're tuning in just now, make sure to drop it in the chat. I will get to it right after we talk about some plugins. I know it's super boring, but it's also super interesting because you can take what I'm saying to the bank. I build websites for a living, and these are tools that I really think are good and have been using for many years. So not just recently added them into my repertoire. We're actually using them on a daily basis. So let's jump into the first one. And I think this one is probably the most universally agreed upon tool. Now, again, we just talked about this. Everything has its shortcomings. This does too, but let's talk about Gravity Forms. So what is Gravity Forms? Gravity Forms is a form building tool for WordPress. So what does that mean? That means that if you want to build any kind of form, any kind of input collection system, Gravity Forms is the tool that you would want to use to do that. And they've done a fantastic job of building this out. Now, you can see here, they even say that they're trusted by some of the biggest brands in the galaxy. It's pretty good advertising, actually. ESPN, Nike, Airbnb, NASA, all use Gravity Forms as part of their website. And why is that? Because it's so dang easy to use. You see, Gravity Forms is a drag and drop form builder, meaning that they have little modules that are on the side of the screen. And you grab those modules and you can drop them into the form in the way that you want. It makes it super easy to build the form that you really want to have. It's also WCAG compliant, which means that it's a standard of the web's for form entries, so that it's compliant with that standard, which is great. It's accessible. It works with screen readers and things like that. So, and honestly, it's just a really nice system to use. They've got a lot of extensions, like here. They've got all of these integrations with these apps that you may or may not already be using that you can plug right into your system. Have Gravity Forms start sending stuff to PayPal, Dropbox, Stripe, MailChimp, wherever it is. You can just have all that stuff connected right through. Yeah, it's really truly a fantastic tool. And it's not expensive. It's like $250 a year for an elite license that gives you access to every add-on plugin, things that they want. You might not even need that. I think the cheap one is like $60, and you can start building forms on your website right away. It's got all of these after settings tools to set up your notifications, your confirmation pages, everything. It's just a fantastic tool. Highly recommend it. If you're building a WordPress site and you need a form anywhere, check out Gravity Forms. It's just really nice. And they keep updating it. They just did a massive overhaul of it about 6 months ago and really improved the system a lot. Second tool I want to talk about is an SEO tool called RankMath. So let's take a look at RankMath. RankMath is SEO guidance for WordPress. So if you're doing anything with SEO on your website, on your WordPress website, and you want to make sure that you're doing it right, or that you want to be guided through the process of doing that, RankMath is a fantastic tool for doing that. So how does it work? Well, once you install RankMath, it's going to start loading a little panel on each of your pages. Okay. And this is a little hard to see. Can I zoom it in maybe a little bit? So it's going to load this little panel on the side of your page. And you punch in whatever keywords you're trying to rank for. And then it's going to walk you through the process of getting it done. In fact, let's go ahead. I've got a site pulled up here that we've built, and I will show you how this tool works. So let's go to our posts, and we'll jump into our post here. So here we are, we're on the post, and I'm going to scroll past this text down to our RankMath SEO section, which is right here. Here's the focus keyword for our article, stainless steel. And it's going to give us all of the check marks that we need to start filling out in order to hit the best SEO that we can for this page. So we just need to correct whatever is wrong. So, in this case, we already built this page out, so we're doing a lot of stuff. It doesn't include a power word, but that's because this wasn't the purpose of this article. We weren't trying to put a power word in. So, you use your best judgment as well. But this is a fantastic tool. It gives you this quick grade up here, so you can kind of just eyeball very quickly and see, how am I doing on my SEO? Usually we're shooting for 75 plus on our SEO. If you can get up over 80, that's great. It's a huge step in the right direction. Is there more to SEO than what RankMath does? Absolutely. Backlinking is a huge part of SEO, getting other websites to promote your content. But that being said, this gets you going in the right direction. If you know nothing about SEO, this will get you pretty close. We don't use it as our guideline. It's a crutch for us. We just want to be able to make sure very quickly that we've done what we need to do on the pages. And this product does a great job. One new tool that they added is called Content AI. And if you know what you need to build, but you don't really know exactly what else you need to put in the page, you can actually punch in your keyword in the Content AI engine, and it will spit back everything you need to include in your article. So if you're writing about, grass, it will say leaves, is another keyword you need to get in there, something like that, very useful if you're just trying to write some blogs and get some SEO going. So RankMath is fantastic, and it's, again, very cheap, very accessible. We put it on every single one of our sites so that we know what's going on. It also includes a ton of extra tools like redirections and 404 tracking and analytics engine. I could go on. Video, site mapping, stuff like that. I know that sounds really technical, and it is, but there's a lot of reasons to like RankMath, not like RankMath, but like RankMath. So, okay. So 2 tools down, 2 to go. The last 2 go together, so I'm going to kind of talk about them in tandem, but I love these tools. And the best part about both of these tools is that they are 100% free. And we use them on a ton of sites. Not every site, because every site needs what we're going to be talking about, but they're fantastic. So the last 2 tools are Custom Post Type UI, or CPT UI, as most people call it, and ACF, or Advanced Custom Field. So why do I need 2 plugins to do some jobs? All right, well, let me show you. So this is Custom Post Type UI. What this does is it harnesses the power of WordPress. So let's talk about WordPress for 1 second. I got a detour because this won't make sense unless we talk about it. So in WordPress, it is a relational database. So what does that even mean? I just thought I had a website. Yes, you do have a website. The website is what is shown on the outside. On the inside, we need to know how it functions. So there are static pages that have no relationship data, right? That would be like classic web, building out HTML websites. They don't really link together. There's not really data that's shared between your pages. Then you have relational database websites, which is like what WordPress does. Drupal, a bunch of these WYSIWYG builder sites. This is how they operate. And what it is they create an architecture. And then that architecture tags things over and over and over again with tons of different tags. And based off of those tags, the front end of the site knows what to show. So what does that mean? In WordPress, everything you build is a post. It's just what kind of post that changes how the website shows it on the front end. So you have pages, you have posts, you have portfolios, you have testimonials, you have widgets. All of these are different types of posts to WordPress, and it knows how to show them based off of the tagging. With Custom Post Type UI, we can create our own brand new types of posts. So why would this be useful? Well, let me show you. So let's go back to our site that we were talking about here. With this site, we built out a custom post type called prints, where every single one of our items in the database is a different, or is all one post type, right? So all these are one post type, and then these are tagged with the tag promotional items. So it knows to show these prints on this page. If I go to the displays and booths page, here's all of these. And the reason why this is great is because of 2 reasons. One, we can take all of these specific types of posts and put them into one package area that we can manage. And 2, we can create layouts that are universal. So let's take a look at what that means. So with all of our print pages, they're all going to have this exact layout. So they're going to have the name, they're going to have this kind of order tray, whatever the product is button. They're going to have an image, they're going to have some text, and then we have some other options down here if something gets filled out. What is that something that gets filled out? Well, that's our advanced custom fields. So this is the other half of that. We can create custom blocks that know how to load in certain places on the page. So if we were to go back to our trade show page, all right, This text right here is a tagline block that we made in advanced custom fields. This is our headline block. This is our primary image. Okay. We have a gallery that could load. We have all kinds of different fields that they could potentially load based off of whatever they fill out in our advanced custom fields. So what does that look like? Let's go ahead and just take a look real quick, and I'll show you. Normally, this section is not available, but if we scroll down, we've got our print fields, okay? And this is our gallery. Here's our print description. Here's our print tagline. If you fill these out, they all load into the right kinds of places on the page. So making sure that all of our product pages look and feel the same is what we're doing, and we're using custom post type UI and advanced custom fields to make that happen. Now, I'll admit, these two tools are a bit more involved than the previous two. They're not power user. You can definitely get them, definitely understand them, and start using them, but they are a little bit more complicated than not. And we also use a theme called Avada that interfaces very well with custom fields. So it makes it even easier on us to use custom fields. So if you're looking to do that, make sure that you just read up, do your homework, know what you're getting into, or give me a call, whatever, help you out. So to recap, my 4 favorite plugins on WordPress are Gravity Forms, #1 form builder for WordPress, period. RankMath, my personal selection for SEO management on WordPress. Yoast is another option. I left Yoast. I like RankMath a lot more. #3, custom post type UI, to make my own custom post types so that I can organize my content effectively on the website. And #4, advanced custom fields, so that I can create layouts for my pages that are repeated based off of the post type so that they look consistent and polished. So those are my 4 plugins that I really like. If you have a plugin that you like, drop it in the chat. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat. I'd love to answer them, spend some time with you talking about marketing. If not, that's completely understandable. It is Friday. It is the weekend, or we're heading into 4th of July weekend. Hope that everybody's having a great had a great week and is looking forward to this weekend. I know I am going to be eating some great smoked meat, so I'm very excited for that. All right. Well, if there are no questions from the chat, we'll go ahead and wrap up this week's Lunch Crunch. Hey, I had a great time. I love talking about digital marketing with you and just in general. So please, if you're not following us already, go and follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on all 4 platforms simultaneously, so you can follow us anywhere. If you go to YouTube, make sure to hit the bell to follow us. And please, daily stuff, follow us on TikTok. We're dropping some great digital marketing truths on TikTok. It's The Wizard Marketing on TikTok. Follow us there too. Really looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, you beautiful people. And, just keep at it. Marketing is not a one and done thing. It is something you got to do every single day, every single week, every single month to keep the ball rolling. And we need to keep the ball rolling. It's important. Otherwise, we're going to get beat and we're going to flounder and fail. And we don't want to do that. We're awesome people. We're entrepreneurs. We're growers. We're doers. We're builders. So get out there and build. All right. We'll see you next week.